What is up, ladies and gents? It's your boy Lou Streets, and I'm back with another video. And we're about to do something really cool right now, right? So remember how I said that I hope that the next NRS game is a Mortal Kombat game, and it makes sense business-wise? I want to go through the last few Mortal Kombat games, particularly Mortal Kombat 11 and 1, and we're going to make the perfect Mortal Kombat game that we hope is coming out next. Let's have some fun with this. I'm not going to make it too long, so the criteria will be simple, but let's have a little bit of fun. Okay, so the very first thing that we're going to acknowledge is the menu system and all the different options available, right? So I think when it comes to Kombat League and Mortal Kombat 11, they got this pretty right. You can look over here behind my camera, and as you can see, we have the seasonal challenges, connect 10 fatal blows, connect 25 uppercuts. You get different rewards for this. Some of that is gear, some of that is crystals, but I think overall, giving an incentive to do these things in a match is pretty awesome. If we bring up the season details, you also see ranking up brings you skins. Of course, we have this in Mortal Kombat 1, but I think it's better in Mortal Kombat 11 because of the side mission stuff over here. Then also, we have the menu setup in general. We have Kombat League up top, of course, casual versus King of the Hill. As you guys know, the King of the Hill and the lobby system in Mortal Kombat 1 was a little bit wonky. And then, of course, which is more important, rooms for crossplay, right? This is something that we need to have in the games going forward. This is very important. They really dropped the ball with this in Mortal Kombat 1. So when it comes to rooms and online experience connectivity, we are leaning towards the style of Mortal Kombat 11. That needs to be in the next Mortal Kombat game, right? Let's talk Towers of Time in Mortal Kombat 1. Either one or two things happened. It didn't come out early enough, or it just wasn't that engaging. They do have some cool stuff around. You got the arcade towers. You got the seasonal towers over here. What else do we have? We got the legacy towers over here, and it's other towers in the back. The hourly tower, more hourlies just on different levels. So, we have all that stuff, but essentially it's 4 categories, right? It's only 4 categories. So even though the Towers of Time is one thing, when you come over here and get away from the Towers of Time and come into Invasions, the intros are cool, but the rest of this stuff is kind of lacking, right? Like, the idea was good as far as concept, but I don't think it was put together properly. It's really interesting as far as like walking around the maps and kind of giving you a feel of doing something interactive, but overall it's just not put together that well in a way that makes you want to keep playing it. I rarely ever played Invasions. Sometimes I would do it, but ultimately I just got bored faster than not, Like this part of it always looked cool to me, just being able to kind of walk around and select the messes. I think this was interesting to people just because it felt interactive, but overall it kind of felt like it was just lacking a whole lot. And I haven't even did this season, so I can't walk past this. I don't know if this was the greatest way to go about single player content. Let's check out Mortal Kombat 11. Now let's compare that to the single player content in Mortal Kombat 11, which just seems to be much, much better. As you can see, when you go in the towers, we got a bunch of cool stuff here. We got difficulty towers with the mirror image premiere tower. We got the rapid towers over here, which are pretty much time and come back over and over. Summonable towers with keys that seem pretty interesting. Tag assist towers, which was pretty awesome, and probably the catalyst for cameos in Mortal Kombat 1. Then also over here, we got gauntlet towers, heroic towers as well, but then this is the coolest one to me. We have character towers. So it's like if you have a certain character that you love, you can just ramp up gear for him. Like I got Scorpion at stage 2, but see Liu Kang, I did Liu Kang up to stage 5, so like I got a lot of Liu Kang gear, and it was just pretty dope to see what some of the rewards were, and it was always fulfilling because of the fact that you felt like that you were getting rewards for your character, and it wasn't overly time consuming. So I feel like that they got this right. And then we also still have the crypt. Then we also got co-op towers with boss characters, and these things were really hard. Like I tried a few of them. I think we only beat like one of these, like when I would do like with co-op with randoms. These things were really, really hard, and they were really fun in general. And then I think this right here is one of the coolest experiences about Mortal Kombat 11, because it just, for one, it just looks awesome, and then it's just a lot of stuff to see, a lot of dope ass lore. Over here you see we got the shrine right here with the different characters. We got Sonya, Kano is halfway with the part. We got Liu Kang, Goro. Wait, if that's Kano, who's that? Is that Raiden? That might be Raiden that's half ripped apart, right? Because then I got Johnny Cage and Sub. So no, that's got to be Scorpion or Raiden. It's got to be Raiden because they're the only characters who was in the original game. And then we got Goro in the middle. But it was like you just had cool stuff like this and fun things to do. There's nothing like this in Mortal Kombat 1. So 100% when it comes to single player content, we would want to experience this more in line with what Mortal Kombat 11 had to offer in regards to towers, co-op towers, boss towers, character towers, and then just the exploration of the shrine, which was really, really cool. And it was so much to do. Like, even if you look at these towers over here, I don't even got all the fatality heads. It's so many characters left. And this game is years old, and I played this a decent amount, but I mean, it was just so much to do in this game. This is definitely the way to go when it comes to single player content. So the next thing that we're gonna talk is art style, customization, and graphics. And I think all of this goes hand in hand. I've heard people try to say that MK1 has better graphics, but I think that the character models in Mortal Kombat 11 just look a lot more sophisticated and better. If we scroll up here on Liu Kang, I mean, he looks pretty realistic, you know what I'm saying? Just from the way that the skin looks, you know, the way that the gear looks on his body, the lighting, it just looks more up close and personal in comparison to Mortal Kombat 1, and we'll see that one soon, right? And then also, when it comes to that, we have gear pieces. We have more than one gear piece. This is an automatic W in regards to how customization works in the more recent games, because Mortal Kombat 1 only has one gear piece, and if I'm not mistaken, MKX only had skins, and some of those skins were tied to variations. I could be wrong about this because I didn't play that game that much. However, I do know that Mortal Kombat 11 offers the most options, because outside of just gear pieces, look at all this different gear. Just look at these different gear pieces, right? So much gear to be going through. Multiple pieces of gear, which makes it even better, right? We have the nunchucks here, all these different flavors of nunchucks. I mean, I can just scroll the list fast. I don't even got to go through it slowly. Let's just scroll it fast and see all the options I'm going through as I'm talking. Like, it's just multiple options, right? Multiple options per character. Third gear piece over here for the bracers. Multiple options per character, right? And then on top of that, let's look at the skin selection. This is what really blows it out the water. Let's just scroll. So of course I got a lot unlocked for Liu Kang as I play him, but just look at all these options. And I mean, some of them are just like palette swaps and stuff like that, but even those still have like a lot of personality changes to them, you know? We got all these shirtless Kangs, but just look at the way that they kind of change it up, you know? Some has tattoos, some doesn't. When it gets to the other skins, we got the jacket on, we got the jacket off, we got the shirt off with tattoos in multiple colors. I mean, they really go all out. We got DLC skins, we got skins based on characters like the Kotal Khan swap outs, we got futuristic DLC skins here. I mean, and even like with all those options I have, look at all this stuff that's still locked. This game came out 7 years ago, bro. 7 years ago. And look at all these different options. Like all the like let's just go through the Fire God skin. Fire God skin in itself has 11 choices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 choices for one skin in palette swaps, right? So I think that's why I said the graphics looks better in Mortal Kombat 11, because we have this art style plus this customization and the details on the gear. Now, if we come over here to Mortal Kombat 1, I picked one of the cooler gear pieces for Liu Kang just so I could like give it a fighting chance, right? And it doesn't look bad, you know what I'm saying? Like if we just spin around, the details are there. It all looks pretty cool, right? You know, it does look interesting to some extent. But overall, you know, it's not like that we're blown away by this. But I would have to say, to an extent, this looks a little more, I don't want to say cartoonish, but it has more of an animated feel, where the Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat 11 just look much more human, much more detailed, much more real. I don't think the graphics are bad in Mortal Kombat 1. We would never say that. But I think the art style kind of dictates how the graphics come out. And then adding to the fact that outside of just the graphics in itself, look at the lack of pieces and gear. This is what, the game's been out close to 2 years now, and we have 5 skins. There may be some more skins that I can unlock if I did invasions or towers, but overall, even if that's the case, it's one other slot right here that's empty. So we got skins and palette swaps. And some of the palette swaps are cool. We're not gonna dog on Mortal Kombat 1. Some of the palette swaps are cool, but then this is the disappointing part right here. If we go back, gear. One piece of gear change, right? All you get is his bracers change. And I mean, it's some cool stuff in here, don't get it twisted. It's some stuff that looks pretty awesome, but overall, you just feel very limited compared to the 3 pieces that we had in Mortal Kombat 11. And then since we only have so much gear that can be changed, in my mind, this plays into the lack of better graphics, because you're just showing us less detail overall with the characters within themselves. So I think that's kind of like where we feel some level of limitation. Now I will say this, some people have argued me and said that they feel that Mortal Kombat 1 looks better, and the graphics and the style is better, and we'll get into that in the later part of the video. But when it comes to customization, art style, and graphics, in my opinion, it's undoubtedly Mortal Kombat 11 just based on the presentation, the lighting, and the gear pieces. Like, let's say if Mortal Kombat 1 had multiple gear pieces, maybe there's a chance they could look equally as good, but it's hard for us to know because we only get so much detail. Like, when looking at the skin looks pretty good, right? Liu Kang looks pretty cool in this skin. But because there's not a lot to be changed, all you pretty much got to do is enjoy what his default package looks like with one gear change. So it's hard to say, oh, this looks better, because we don't get a lot of comparison because we get one skin and one piece of gear. So when it comes to art style, as far as the next game, I want to lean to something that favors MK11 more. We can add some MK1 elements, but overall, in regards to lighting and just presentation and feel, I want us to lean towards MK11 for the next game to some extent. So in continuation with the graphics talk, let's talk about the versus menu. Now, I gotta say, maybe it's just because of how the cameos are, or maybe the background, there is something really cool about the versus menu in Mortal Kombat 1, which is funny because I said that Mortal Kombat 11 looks better graphic wise, but I kind of like the art style of the versus menu in Mortal Kombat 1 more. It's something about it where it almost has like this comic book-esque feel. Like, if I could take out the HUD of the cameos and just have the characters there, it's something about it that does look really cool. Maybe just me watching Sub-Zero's hands, hearing the sound of the ice coming off of him, seeing the cameo move in the background. Maybe it's because of the fact that it's just 4 characters, or the fact that it's not a black and gold background like it is in Mortal Kombat 11. But I will say, this style of the versus menu looks a little bit cooler when it comes to Mortal Kombat 1, which is shocking because menu-wise, Mortal Kombat 11 is much more superior to me than the Mortal Kombat 1 menu. But for this particular screen and this shot, the way that they load into a match, I think this looks cooler. Let me just pick 2 characters and watch them load in.
Movado, Sub-Zero.
Yeah, it's something about it, the way that they kind of clash and then like have that, you know, speech that they go into, just looks cooler to me.
With one act, you betrayed 2 realms.
Neither deserved my loyalty.
Intros, solid, solid, solid.
Round 1, fight.
Let's check out Mortal Kombat 11. See her animation coming in. Actually, no, let me go back. I want to see her. I want to see her coming all the way in for her animation. So let's go down to her. All right, there's the close-up shot. And then we pick her, and she goes back, does her animation, okay? And then same thing with Sub-Zero. Let's go to CPU, got the close-up shot. We press the button. See his animation start. But you see after that, it just gets silent, where in Mortal Kombat 1, we had sound this entire time. Let's see how they go into the match. See, we don't even got the characters on screen. We got just the fight in the background with the shadows. Yeah, this looks cool. It's all right. But I think just having the characters up close looks a lot doper in Mortal Kombat 1. However, Mortal Kombat 1, they do their commentary right here for intros. This is where Mortal Kombat 11 blows Mortal Kombat 1 out the park. Intro animations, much better in Mortal Kombat 11. Art style, a little bit better in the actual game.
The Lin Kuei stand against Outworld.
I'll shatter your clan with a single cry.
You are welcome to try.
Round 1, fight.
And I think the third thing about that also is the fact that there's commentary back and forth. It's not just one line each. So that kind of adds to it also. So even though we did check out both and I had certain things that I liked about both games, in regards to the versus character select screen, at least loading into the match, I would say Mortal Kombat 1, but then we want the intros in Mortal Kombat 11 once the actual match is started in regards to that. Let's get into the actual in-game graphics. Okay, so now let's talk about in-match graphics, in-game graphics, and the actual gameplay, right? When it comes to Mortal Kombat 11, this is where it significantly outshines Mortal Kombat 1. I know some people will beg to differ, but this is a hill that I will die on, and I think that this game is probably one of the best looking fighting games in fighting game history. Like, it might be the best. It's up there, right? If it's not the best to you, give me some game comparisons in the comments of what you think it may be, but I would argue that Mortal Kombat 11 is probably the most beautiful looking fighting game, period. So let's start with different reasons why. First of all, the characters are very close to the screen, right? So it gives you this kind of immersive, intimate feel because the characters are larger and they have a ton of detail. The only game I could think of that would come close to this as far as character detail and size it might be Tekken 8 when they're up close, but that's a 3D game, so it's a little bit different. But I mean, just look at how big the characters are, and then so like when it's an attack, you feel the impact of the attack because the characters are just so close, right? So I think that's kind of an edge that Mortal Kombat 11 has on Mortal Kombat 1 and a lot of fighting games in general. And then if we just look at the stage in itself, a lot of detail going on. We see a lot of random items here in the backdrop. It is a 2D game, but it has a 3D feel because of all the layers and depth into the actual stage. You see characters moving in the background. If we move forward over here, you can see Kano over there behind the bar, and you can see him very clearly. This is something you will see in match. It is other stages like this where you can see Jax and Johnny Cage and Sonya in the background. So like, that's one thing, right? And then even when we go full screen, the characters are still fairly large. I think even in this screen, the characters might still be bigger than MK1 characters, right? So when it comes to in-game graphics, I think we're leaning towards Mortal Kombat 11. And then to add to the intimacy level, KBs. It's something about crushing blows and fatal blows that give a different element of being inside the game, right? We do have fatal blows in Mortal Kombat 1, but they feel like they pack a bigger punch in this game. And maybe because of the way that the lighting changes, maybe because of the blood and the gore, but whatever it is, it's something about that and crushing blows that just add a different feel to how this game presents itself versus Mortal Kombat 1. Let's go check out Mortal Kombat 1 and make a comparison and see which is the better of the two. So now let's take a look at Mortal Kombat 1. And I wanted to keep this fair, which is why I picked Scorpion and Shao again. Now looking at the backdrop, now on this particular stage, the reason I picked this particular stage is because we had people in the background of Fight Club and we have people in the background of Sun Do. Now I will say, I can see what people mean, but it's because of the feel of the universe. Like this is very Game of Thrones like in regards to the background. We got a couple of civilians back here. We got one walking back and forth being carried on someone's back. We have someone clapping right here. We have a guy on this boat right here. We have another guy working on this ship. We have somebody laying on the dock way in the back center if you can see it. We have the boat floating in the middle of the actual water. I'm trying to see on the third layer back there. The layer is way in the back. We don't have anything moving. They're just very beautiful. Let me walk over this way and see what we got. We got people to the right over on docks and stuff like that. So I can understand the argument when it comes to in-match graphics because of the backdrops for certain stages. I think this stage is probably the best looking stage in Mortal Kombat 1 in regards to depth because it just keeps going back and it's so much back there. Let's move Shao over here towards me, son. Just see what's over here. Yeah, we got more people over here working on the docks. I mean, I can understand the argument. I still would lean towards Mortal Kombat 11 just because I think the art style and the universal feel is really great. But if this wasn't a Mortal Kombat game and this was just like any other fighting game being presented, I would say this has a very superior vibe to it. But for a Mortal Kombat game, I think the art style that we get in Mortal Kombat 11 with being up close, a lot more detail. Like if we just walk towards Shao, the characters are smaller. But if you compare this Shao Kahn version to the one that we see in Mortal Kombat 11, he doesn't seem as detailed, which is strange because he still has great detail. You can see the dragon scales on his arms. His face, you can only see so much of it. You can see the detail on his horns. Like, it's partially there. But then if we look at Scorpion, Scorpion looks very dry compared to Mortal Kombat 11 Scorpion with all of his different tassels hanging off of his gear. So Mortal Kombat 1, now that I'm really staring at it, it's a very beautiful game. I didn't realize just how beautiful it was. But the thing is, how the game looks right now, this is all we ever get. There's no crushing blows, so combos kind of always are in this same camera. The only time that the combo switches, yeah, like I even forgot some of my old combos, but like the only time the combo switch, yeah, it doesn't look bad at all. Like the combo still looks solid, but it don't hit the sound. Like I don't feel that impact. Like even this, it just don't got that impact to it, right? Maybe because it's not as intimate and doesn't feel as personal. But when I do this attack versus like a F3-4 on Mortal Kombat 11, it don't feel the same. It don't got that punch and that oomph to it. And then if I go into Fatal Blow, Fatal blows look pretty solid. They still look cool. We got the change in lighting, but I think what makes the fatal blows not hit as hard in this game is that the backdrop all turns black and white. Like, it puts emphasis on the characters to bring them to the foreground, but because the screen goes kind of black and white in the background, it just doesn't hit the same. So even though I can see some of the beauty in Mortal Kombat 1, which is clearly there, it's a very beautiful game, as I said, but it doesn't feel like Mortal Kombat in that regard. And I think that's why I'm going to lean towards Mortal Kombat 11 when it comes to in-match graphics and art style. Now, I will say, as we said earlier, the versus screen does look better in Mortal Kombat 1, so we could pull from those ideas. But when it comes to the in-match graphics, I think Mortal Kombat 11 has it by a landslide, especially with the intros and animation. So the next thing that I want to talk about as far as in-game goes is character identity. And I don't necessarily mean what you guys think I may mean, right? What I'm saying with this is that in Mortal Kombat, character identity tends to develop through their fighting style, right? So for instance, Liu Kang is the fire god. So that means he has air fireballs, a low fireball that looks like a dragon, a mid fireball, the dragon kick, and the dragon's dance, which is pretty much like a different variation of his bicycle kick, right? So my point is, in Mortal Kombat, traditionally, the characters' moves and attack, like move sets and their attacks, is highly based upon what their personality is. Like, that's pretty much how things translate. So I'm going to do a generic Liu Kang combo to show what his personality translates to in this game. Then we're going to go to Mortal Kombat 11 and see what the difference is for characters in that game. Obviously, we have to use Movado, so it's not going to be just all Liu Kang by himself. But overall, we're going to kind of see how his personality in this game translates to his moveset. So that's the generic Liu Kang combo, right? And then also, if we were to show his fatal blow, let's see what his fatal blow is like. Ignore the Movado part, but let's see how his personality translates into his fatal blow in this game. So Movado's obviously irrelevant right here. But let's see what Liu Kang does. Bicycle kick in the KB, followed up by his fireball, because he's the fire god, right? So we see what that looks like in this game. This is his personality being translated into his moves. Now let's see how this differs in Mortal Kombat 11. So just to reiterate, this video is not about comparing Mortal Kombat 11 to Mortal Kombat 1 and saying which is better. I don't got Mortal Kombat X in the video because I don't have that game installed right now, I don't think. And it's kind of irrelevant to my point because I can just name the examples when it comes to that. But overall, my point is, what really hit me like about what I like better about Mortal Kombat 11 in regards to MK1, and remind you, this isn't a video comparing the games. This is about taking what's best from each game and trying to make the best Mortal Kombat going forward for the next NRS game, right? But what hit me is one day I was playing Mortal Kombat 11 and I was using Kung Lao when I realized this, and that's what made me want to use him for this example. So obviously the characters are bigger, the attacks feel more stronger and brutal in regards to sound and impact. But the main thing that it made me realize is that the characters' identities are much more tied into their attacks in Mortal Kombat 11, and that's why I like it more. So what do I mean by this? Well, we see that Kung Lao has the sharp hat, and we know that Kung Lao fights with a lot of speed. He's a Shaolin monk that fights with a lot of speed. So let's look at his 2-1-2-1-2 string, right? That tells you everything you need to know about Kung Lao right there, is that string alone. We got the hat attack, we got the multiple speed punches, and we got the style and the flair. Because remember, Kung Lao's an arrogant fighter that uses this sharp attack and uses a lot of speed. So we see all that. Here's the style right here. Throwing the hat and let it come back to him, that's the style, that's the flair. The speed and the multiple punches right there, right? So then let's just look at his attacks overall when it comes to like his identity. So we got the hat right here, right? We got the hat on back 3-2-1. We got the hat on F, 1-3 up 2, and then we even got the hat on sweep. What else do we got? Side change with his spiritual guidance. So we have all of this in his attack system, so it feels like, okay, that's the guy with the hat. That's also the guy that teleports, right? Teleports, multiple attacks, he can grab from it. He can do an attack from it like this. He can just chop to the face with the hat. All of this stuff seems to be tied into his personality. We got the dive kick, right? You know, we got the dive kick to cover distance, and we got the hat right there. Then we also got like his KB setups. Speed in his fatal blow. Hat in his fatal blow. More of the hat in his fatal blow. And then we got the dive kick to the back. It doesn't look the same, and he catches the hat on the back end, but that's when it hit me. The character identity is much more in these attacks. Now, granted, the game is different and it's closer, so we kind of see that the combos wouldn't look as cool compared to some of the stuff you would see in Mortal Kombat 1 because of the cameos. But I mean, I don't think we really need cameos. I think we need character identity. I think it's like, if you have various ways to do different combos with your character identity, that's what makes it feel like that you're a specialist of said character. In Mortal Kombat 1, because of the cameos, while there is a lot of variety and creativity, it's something about using a cameo that takes away from the identity of your character. So I think when it comes to in-game attacks and character identity, Mortal Kombat 11 is far more superior because it feels like when I'm playing Kung Lao, I'm playing Kung Lao. When I'm playing with Kotal Khan, I'm playing with brute force and strength and a really big-ass sword. I'm using the power of the sun. There's a lot of character personality in all of their attacks, so it feels like that you're a specialist of this character who has this identity. I think that's kind of lacking in Mortal Kombat 1 because of the cameo system. I'm not saying that Mortal Kombat 1 doesn't have it, but even in regards to the Liu Kang combo I just showed you, Liu Kang is supposed to be a martial arts specialist with the ability of fire. Well, in Mortal Kombat 1, he doesn't have his nunchucks. Now, you can say that that's a design choice, but I think that's kind of what hurts Liu Kang being as fun because, in my opinion, Liu Kang is one of the most boring vanilla characters in Mortal Kombat 1. I can use him and I can win with him, but it's just something about how he felt in Mortal Kombat 11 where he felt like more of a true martial artist, the same way that Kung Lao feels like a martial artist with style and flair and the usage of his hat. So I'm going to lean towards Mortal Kombat 11 in regards to character identity and how that translates into combos. Okay, so now we're talking in-game mechanics. We show combos. Combos is preferential. I like some of the combos from Mortal Kombat 1. If they could find a way to give us that length of combos without cameos, like i.e. Mortal Kombat X, I wouldn't be against that because I want to do sauce, right? But Mortal Kombat 11 doesn't have the most sauciest combos, but it has some very rewarding combos, right? But one of the biggest problems with Mortal Kombat 11 is simply this right here. Getting punished for doing the combo because of breakaway. This is one of the worst things. I think breakaway could be one of the worst mechanics in fighting game history. Now, I'm not necessarily mad at breaker, but I think that we should have something that counters breaker that adds like the mind game layers. Like, for instance, if you do breakaway in this game, you can get knocked out of it. In Mortal Kombat 1, you can't stop breaker. You can throw a projectile in your combo if it will potentially kill on the last hit. That's something that you could do if you find a way to kind of mix that in there. But I think there should be a move to stop breaker to add a different element. So now you got to think about when you break, kind of like Killer Instinct, but not the same way. But I think that there should be some type of system where I could either do my whole combo and you could decide not to break, or you could try to break, and if I got a feel for where you might do it at, I have some type of move where it's not super OP, but it's layered enough to where you can actually stop somebody from breaking. Because it would be something like this. You see how, like, if you knew somebody was gonna break, you could stop them in Mortal Kombat 11, but that's for a breakaway? There should be some mechanic like that in the next Mortal Kombat, right? So I would rather us have breaker instead of breakaway. But I think that if you get red from your breaker and there's the move to stop that, you should get bigger damage. Now let's go check out breaker for the sake of checking it out, but I think it should be applied in that way. So now we're back in Mortal Kombat 1 and we're looking at the breaker system. I'm not gonna do a long combo because Sub-Zero is gonna pretty much break when I start a combo. Like that, right? But what I do wish is that, let's say that he was gonna do that in a later part of my combo. I wish there was some type of move, kind of like how we had Fatal Blow in Mortal Kombat 11 or armor break moves. I wish there was some type of move to make a read on breaker and stop it. So like, if I was just doing a combo on Sub-Zero, and then right when he does that, before he does that, if I do the proper input to pretty much break whatever his move would be, and then he goes for that on the next frame, it would be nice if I could keep that combo going. Like maybe it freezes, it shows some type of breaker mechanic to say that you pretty much stopped him from combo breaking. Like you broke the combo breaker. That would be pretty dope to me. I think it would add a different layer. Some people like the whole idea of a breaker system so they won't die from a combo, but I'm a fan of a game always having like a 50-50 mentality onto what can be done right and wrong. I don't like the breaker is guaranteed, and in some scenarios you can just throw a projectile like I mentioned in the Mortal Kombat clip. You can throw a projectile, or a Mortal Kombat 11 clip, you can throw a projectile when you think it's going to kill, And that's cool, but what if you're using a character where that's just not like a viable option? Like if I got him launched like maybe mid-screen and I can't throw this projectile with Liu Kang because it ain't gonna hit because the trajectory isn't right, I would rather just have something different, you know what I'm saying? So I think that if there was some type of system where we actually had a move to stop combo breaker, that would be the better way to go, because breakaway is ass for Mortal Kombat 11, right? And they did make some moves to kind of counter that, but they weren't universal. I think that should have a type of move where it's universal for everybody. It could be a special move. It could be an input that is just for that particular scenario. But whatever it is, I'm leaning towards the breakaway system of Mortal Kombat 1. However, I want there to be some counterplay to it. I don't want it to be guaranteed, and I don't want it to be based on throwing a projectile. I mean, and that is cool, right? Or you could like just do like a D2 to cut your damage short. But I wish there was some type of move. And even if you want to add another layer to it, how about make that move have a risk element to it? Like, if you're wrong with that move and they don't break at that particular time, and so you pretty much cut your combo short, or maybe you do it wrong, you might get punished for that, right? But that might be like kind of putting too much onus on the offensive player who's already opened somebody up. So maybe you just have this breakaway move and it does a regular knockdown if it doesn't break, but if they break at that time and you break their combo breaker, then you get even more damage. I think there should be something like that. I'm not a fan of breakaway, but I don't like the guaranteed safety of combo breaker as well. You know, like I understand the idea is to like give you a second breath or a second chance, but I think that there should still be some type of counterplay for the offensive player as well. So for the breakaway system, we're gonna lean towards combo breaker on Mortal Kombat 1, but with some more adjustments and some more counterplay that comes in the future and adds another layer and element of mind games to it, so to speak, you know? So pretty much to wrap up this video, I made a tally over here. The last three things, I'm not gonna show a visual demonstration, I'm gonna just talk about them. So this is our tally system so far. So for the menu system, we're leaning towards Mortal Kombat 11 to be pretty much, so let's look at it like this. Let's say that the new system is working off of the old system. So I don't want it to be as that I'm saying make the same exact identical thing. I'm saying make an involvement of the system that we already have in place when I mention these categories. So for instance, if I say the menu system of MK11, what I'm saying is in the next game, an evolvement of that system for that category, right? If I say the versus screen for MK1, I'm saying an evolvement of that system for the next game. So pretty much when I read these tallies, I'm not saying the same exact identical version, I'm just saying an evolvement of that. So let's look at it that way. So now let's go through the tallies. So, and I'll count them up at the end, but like, let's just go through the tallies one by one, category wise. So for menu system, the home screen and all that, we want Mortal Kombat 11. That's the system we want to work from. So that's one for Mortal Kombat 11. For the single player content such as Crypt, Towers of Time, Character Towers, etc., anti-invasions, anti-bullshit Towers of Time in Mortal Kombat 1, we want to lean towards the Mortal Kombat 11 system and expand on that. For art style, customization, and gear, we want to lean towards MK11 with 3 pieces or more, tons of skins or more, and build off of that. So Mortal Kombat 11 has 3 tallies so far. For the versus screen, loading into the versus screen, character animations, the way that the characters look as they're going into the match, we're leaning towards MK1. So that's MK1's first tally. Intros, in regards to the intros when the characters are talking, not doing the intro at the menu in between, but actually doing it as the match starts, kind of similar to Injustice. We're leaning towards MK11 on that, build upon that system. We love the character specific dialogue, and we love the back and forth that one has a rebuttal. Not one line each, we love the initial line, the second line, and the rebuttal, plus the camera angles and the animations coming in. So we're up to 4 for Mortal Kombat 11. In-match graphics, Mortal Kombat 11 by far. Characters are larger, more detailed, much more personal, much more intimate, louder impact when we have attacks. So we have that. Character identity, as we showed with the Kung Lao combos versus the Liu Kang combos in Mortal Kombat 1, but we had the Kung Lao combos in Mortal Kombat 11. Character identity and the way that the players fight, based on that identity, we're leaning towards Mortal Kombat 11. The breakaway system. For that, we're going back to Mortal Kombat 1 with the twist. We want combo breaker, but I would prefer there be some mind games or some layered play that the offensive player can make a hard read and either end their combo early by doing hard read or getting bigger damage for knocking you out of combo breaker. You guys will have to find a way to integrate that system. I'm not a game developer, so I'm gonna make it sound like it's simple. However, I think that will provide more fun for the player that's doing the combo and the player that's getting combo, right? It's not just to get out of jail free card. Combos. So this one, we're not going to show a demonstration of this. These last 3 categories, we're not showing a visual demonstration. I just wrote these down as part of the conversation. For the combos, we want a blend somewhere between MKX and MK11. Now, my reason for saying MK11, because MK11 isn't known for having awesome combos, but what MK11 has is great character identity. So if you take that character identity and find a way to incorporate that style of combos from MKX without the run button, we don't want the run mechanic back. So without the run button, if you bring that style of combos back without the run button, but maybe just, you know, dash up speed or something like that, so high level players can do really saucy stuff, but players that are average can still get their decent BMBs, I think MKX is the way to go. So that's the one tally the MKX has, because we don't have anything else in here MKX category wise. Brutalities. MK11 has a larger variety of brutalities, has a lot more amount of brutalities, and the way that you get to those brutalities are pretty cool. Mortal Kombat 1 kind of dropped the ball in there. Every character has like 4 or 5. Yes, they come at the end of saucy combos, but ultimately leave a lot to be desired. When it comes to Liu Kang, if I got you in the air, the only brutalities that I can do is Dragon Dance if I'm close, and if I'm far enough, I can do the dragon kick ones, like the low dragon and the high dragon that takes you on a ride, but it just leaves a lot to be desired. I think that the brutalities in Mortal Kombat 11 are much better. The thing that I will say that we would take from MKX when doing those brutalities, give it a finish him freeze. We don't need finish him freeze. It just makes it harder to do your combos for no reason. And then last but not least, this is kind of an unfair category because it's only in one game, but crushing blows. I think crushing blows should be back. So that's another MK11 tally. But outside of just the damage that they do, they just add a different flair of presentation to the game. When you get somebody in their crushing blow screen, they come out of that screen, and then you do your saucy big damage combo that you've been trying to set up all night. I think that's really, really great. One last thing that we will mention that I forgot to mention earlier on. Another tally for Mortal Kombat 1, or you could say Mortal Kombat X, which one you feel like, meter gain, right? Meter gain. Meter should be earned. It shouldn't be given for free like it is in Mortal Kombat 11. You should have to make hard decisions with your meter, whether you want to spend meter to extend your combo or conserve meter for a combo breaker, which makes the whole idea of having a combo break stopping move, that would make that much more important, because now your meter isn't just to get out of jail free card. It's a decision you got to hold for a combo to pretty much try to get all your damage, or you can hold it for a combo break, but then your combo break might not be guaranteed if your opponent reads you properly. This adds a lot of fun and a lot of mind layers to the game, so I think that's why we really need that, right? So for the tallies on in, we have 14 tallies total. We have 9 for MK11, so 9 things from MK11. Once again, that's menu system, single player content, art style customization and gear, intros, in-game graphics, character identity, and brutalities and crushing blows, right? We got all that for Mortal Kombat 11. For MK1, we have 4 tallies, and that is versus screen, breakaway system with the twist that I just mentioned. What are the other 2? Wait, I'm missing something. What am I missing? Well, I guess I put combos on that. Yeah, one of those tallies is combos because it kind of mixes it in MKX. It's pretty much like having MK1/MKX combos without Cameo. So that's kind of like one of those tallies. And then last but not least, we have MKX for the one, which is the combos in general. Like that's where they kind of come into play, right? So overall, we have 14 tallies total, 9 tallies for Mortal Kombat 11, 4 tallies for Mortal Kombat 1, and 1 tally for MKX. And I think that's how we would make our perfect Mortal Kombat game. Let me know if I missed anything that you guys think I should have covered in the comments from a graphics or a gameplay perspective. I didn't want this video to be too long. I want to try to keep it efficient, but you know, bringing back fatalities, babalities, animalities, mercies, dope brutalities and shit like that. I think we need all that content back into the next Mortal Kombat game. I think Mortal Kombat will be the next game, and if we pull elements from all these different places, I wasn't trying to be too biased to Mortal Kombat 11 in this video. However, I think that's the better game just because of presentation quality and all those things. But I will admit that Mortal Kombat 1 has some great stuff in it, as well as Mortal Kombat X. So if we can find the perfect blend between these things, I think this is the proper list to make this work. As I said, I came up with a 14 tally system. Mortal Kombat 11 had 9 of those tallies, so that's roughly 75 to 80%, somewhere in that ballpark. 65, 75, 80%, somewhere in that ballpark. Mortal Kombat 1 had 4 tallies, and MKX had 1 tally. I think that'd be the perfect game. Let me know in the comments if you guys think I didn't cover anything, but I think for the most part, this is how we will find our perfect Mortal Kombat game. Until the next time, it's your boy Blue Streets. I am out. Peace. Hopefully NRS sees this video and takes some of it into account. Of course, they're probably already working on their next game, but I think it's going to be a Mortal Kombat game, and I think it's going to be the best Mortal Kombat game ever if they just follow a decent system and pull from all the games instead of trying to do a completely new system. With that being said, I'm gone. Till the next time, peace out. I shouldn't try to put that in there. I gotta stop forcing those crosses.